talk about some other things that's going on, talk about a little bit of the success of the program this year for the high school. Man, that was amazing.
It's crazy.
It was. What you got for me, Coach?
All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is a little bit about what we do, what we don't do, how we recruit, how we coach, and our ability to take a kid from diapers all the way up to college wrestling. That's really what I wanted to focus on today. We grow our champions. We don't recruit ever. We don't go out and look for the best kids. We just make them. I feel like as a coach, if you can't make a champion, then why are you doing this?
This is true. Like it's never about, hey, we want this kid from that club or that kid from that club. Clubs always pilfer, and it's not so much that the clubs pilfer. That kind of goes off into the tangent of loyalty, right? Or what we pour into the kid. We believe that we give children the best systems, and sometimes the parent just don't see it that way. And here's the deal. Kids learn at a different pace, right? And we call that whole thing, we call that trusting the process. And when you don't trust the process, it never ever works out for the kid in the long run, because we build relationship first, and then we take them from point A to point B. One of the things that's funny about this is on the cover of this paper is Ben Williams, and I was just talking to his dad, and the funny thing is when Ben first started out with me, he didn't have partners, and I had to be his partner, and that was hard, but I had to create ways to train him. And here we are, graduating, 2-time state champ, doing great things.
Savage.
Absolute savage.
Anybody that's wrestled Ben Williams, y'all can attest to that too. So
it's the truth.
All right. So the next thing, kids are only with you for a season. All right. So some of the things that we've noticed. One thing is loyalty. That everybody has their own version of what loyalty is, and how you go about proving it to someone. But part of what we notice is that kids are only with you for a season, right? Like you can't. Everybody's like, oh, I own this kid. They're like, oh, I made this kid. I hear that a lot. People talking about, I made this athlete, I made this kid, I made this person, I made him a state champ. That's just not the truth. Unfortunately, they might buy into your system and you might give them a lot of tools. But at the end of the day, they're only with us for a season. And, we got to take that on the chin.
And that whole concept of with you for a season can be 1 year, 2 year, 18 years, 6 months. And one of the things that I've learned, and I've helped him along the way, is we don't take it personal when a child leaves. It happens all the time. I've had state champions in my program 1 year and they're gone the next. And sometimes you ask yourself, what was it that I did wrong? And then you realize there's nothing that I did. I'm consistent. I teach the same thing over and over and over again. We just want to give the child the ability to win. And that's our system, And in here, every child is treated, would you say, equally?
Yeah, for them, you know what? I won't even say that equally. In here, we don't treat everybody equally. We give you what you need. If you need more than another kid, you're going to get more. And that's just what it is at the end of the day. Some kids only need a little bit of attention to be champions. Some kids need a lot. And the problem is that you're not going to get forgot about in this room. You're not going to get less attention than somebody else. You're going to get what you need. I feel like that's what we do best.
And that's true. One of the things that we came up with this term was you can't out-wrestle the garage and you can't out-wrestle the living room. Meaning, as a coach, I'm going to always give the kids the tools. Sometimes dads have a way of saying, I'm going to make my kid this much better and teach him a skill that we're not even familiar with, or whatever the case might be, or they want their child to do a certain move at the tournament at a particular time in their way. And as a coach, I've learned to back down and be like, all right, this is what you want to teach your son. that's on you, because I realize that no matter what, that's their bond. That's the parent and the child. And I will never win over the dad. And that's just it. And that's why I always say to him, we can't outcoach the living room, and we can't outcoach the garage. Dads always have it made up in their mind as to what they want their child to learn. And if it's not what the program is teaching, then it kind of throws confusion for everyone along the way. And I'm not saying our way is the best way, but I am saying that, even a blind squirrel will find a nut. You know what I mean? Like, we have consistency on everything that we teach. It's repetitive, over and over and over again, so that these kids are capable of hitting a move in their sleep, like a snap down cradle at will, or a bulldog at will, or a double at will. We give them the tools to succeed.
And let's be real. You can't learn from 1,000 different teachers and expect to be the best. You can't do that at school. Your kids don't learn from 1,000 different teachers. Your kid has one math teacher. He has one science teacher. If he can't just jump around to another school and learn a completely different system in a day. It doesn't work like that. Sorry, it doesn't work like that with secular school. It doesn't work like that with wrestling either. All right, we got to make it make sense. But all right. We're going to move on. We're going to legacy. So part of what we always like to talk about is legacy and what we like to do for the sport, what we feel like we got from the sport, and what we feel like we can give back. A lot of people, they don't really worry about legacy. We kind of worry about what's right in front of us. Hey, what are our goals? What do I want to do? What do I want? But we never talk about legacy. What do I want to do for someone else? So that's where this comes into play. One of the topics we like to talk about are the 5 black NCAA champs this year. There's a little bit of controversy on that, but that's okay. We'll talk about it.
Well, here's the deal on that. Before we even get to that, as far as when I was growing up wrestling, for me, I needed heroes to look up to, and I cut out everybody from Mike Van Arsdale, Lee Kemp, Nate Carr, Kenny Monday. I cut out Kevin Jackson, Melvin Douglas. I cut out Bobby Douglas. I cut out anyone, Carl Adams, and anyone who had came into the sport that I could look up and say, hey, look at this. Here's a champion that looks like me and something to strive for, right? My introduction to wrestling, if you really want to know the truth, in my life, as I talked to you guys about last time, was from Martin Wasserman, an old Jewish dude from the Bronx who saved my life with this sport. And he gave me the tools to succeed. But in learning more and wanting to know, hey, who were the guys that came before me? And so then when we fast forward to the controversy over these 5 guys, it's like, all right, you know what? Inner city kids, they don't have to look up to the pro basketball player or the pro football player or the drug dealer or whatever the case might be. Here are 5 young black men that are educated, getting a great education, who can help others to relate and to say, hey, man, maybe football's not your thing. Maybe, basketball's not your thing, but here's someone that, look, that he's a great wrestler. And these young men, matter of fact, we have one of the young men, we have David Carr coming to do a camp for us. And it's not a black-white issue, but it really is a hero issue as to, hey, he relates to all, but there's still some kids that just don't know about wrestling that, who can say, hey, look at this, look what's going on,
Right. It's always, I know a lot, representation in sports is a big deal right now. Obviously, we all watch the news, we all on Facebook, everybody's seeing it right now. Representation, it does matter. It really does. You take a kid like me or Coach Charlie, I never saw wrestling on TV ever. I've never seen wrestling on TV as a child. So for My coach, Coach Porter, Josh Porter, see, another white dude that gave me the tools to succeed, he had to show us the way. And if we would have had, seen it on TV a little bit sooner, we would have been wrestling sooner. And people always wonder why we know so much about basketball and football. It's because we see it on TV all the time, right? You see people that look like you that are doing it. Your uncles and your cousins all do it. They might not have done it at a high level, but they did it. So we need that in wrestling. We really do. A lot of times we just don't have enough representation. So we need more people like us that are doing it, that can prove that we can do it. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about today, is really just how to create an athlete. Sometimes we don't focus on the details. We like to focus on do this move, do that move. A lot of times people are looking on YouTube. They like, oh, coach, what about that new Mike Mao move that we saw? Instead of focusing on the basics and focusing on the system. But part of what we like to talk about is our actual system. And I know some of you guys, you have been coming on Fridays. You need to come to Greco Fridays. That's part of the system, all right? You can't be afraid of the system. Can't be afraid of Greco. You got to learn how to hand fight, all right? It's the basics that win, and it's the system that we put in place that's going to help you succeed, okay? You got anything else on that, Coach? Well, the system?
Well, the simple is real simple. We are consistently teaching the same thing year in and year out. The system, if I'm going to be honest, it started with Deron Bell. One day I came into practice and I was like, I need to come up with some way to teach these young boys how to wrestle and how to win from start to finish, and how to not make it complicated. So I decided, and you could do the same. I came up with, 4 basic moves that I said are gonna always give the kids what they need to win. It doesn't matter. If they can hit this move, they can win. If they can hit a snap down cradle, they can win. And a snap down cradle, again, is just not about a snap down cradle. It's about head control, body position, snapping a person down, being able to chase a leg if you miss the leg. If you miss the cradle, you have the leg, and everything has to flow. It's like one of the things I've learned is, you're not going to send a football player to go play football without a playbook, right? Nobody says, hey, put these pads on and go out there and play football.
Just do whatever. Run fast.
No, it's not like that at all. We give the kids the playbook so that we can make adjustments on the playbook so that they can win. And it's funny, what Kelly brought into me today was the Herald newspaper about the Milton kids, and it talks about Ben Williams is on the front. And I'll just close with that being said. It says to go to page 21, and page 19. As I get to 19, it starts with the kids, right? What do you have?
Let's see. There's a lot of names on here.
These are the kids that are, in our program. They wrestle with us. You have David Bertrand,
3-timer.
Joey Bertrand,
state champ.
You have Catherine Bertrand,
3-time placer.
You have Josh Noble,
state champ.
Tyler Nelson,
state champ.
Molly Washington,
state finalist.
Freshman. Jake Piccarelli,
finalist or third place.
Right. You have Josh Lang.
Oh yeah, homegrown baby.
Freshman, right? You have Dylan Fairchild.
Oh yeah, biggest human being on the planet.
Right.
Big shout out.
You have Ethan Rickard, right? State champ. You have Ethan Colbert, who comes in and sees us. Avery Krippner. You work with Tristan Graham right here.
Yeah.
Bentley Wheeler is definitely out of this room. Kel Bissell, Reed Walker, Noah Danforth. Then there's Chase Murray, right? Then there's Ben Williams. Then you got Zach Reddecker. Then you turn over to page 21, and then you got Sebastian Sherrod, right? You got Connor McHugh. You got Cullen Kane, Evan Kurtz, Nick Barton. He comes down and sees us from time to time.
Yeah, Nick Barton always leaves his shoes up in here.
I know, right?
Yo, come get your shoes, Nick.
You have Josh Whalen, who's up from this area. And then there's Lindsay Noble. So all of these young people have come through our
Matter
doors.
of fact, and she went to Centennial. She used to work with Devon too. Like, yo,
Well, there you have it, right? So this small little area of wrestling, I got to say that this region of the wrestling is probably the toughest in the country. Well, toughest in Georgia.
yeah, that was a I'll take that.
We'll take that. That's
And
it
it's
for
getting tougher. Getting tougher.
That's it for today. That's nice, short, sweet. If you guys have any questions, we have several camps coming up. We have the Sammy Sasso camp that's coming up, and the David Carr camp coming up. Sammy Sasso is going to be on the 6th of June, and David Carr is going to be on the 11th.
June 11th, guys. Make sure you get registered. You can pre-register online. It's $175. Get registered early because the price is going up. I promise, the price is going up. Get registered early. And that's all we got for y'all today, guys.
Have a great day.